Yep, that's what that sound should be. That's what a Volkswagen should sound like. But instead, it sounds like this. Yep. So, boy, do I have a story to share with you. Yep, that's you! Looking at me in the camera with a big old smile on your face, or maybe a puzzled look. I don't know what your look is right now, but I have a story I'd like to share with you. So, you ever have that moment where you try to do something and it just doesn't quite work out the way you're expecting it to? Yeah, that moment where you just think you can't get it right? Well, I'll tell you what, you can get it right a lot better than I can, and this video should make you feel just a little bit better about yourself. And that's the point. I want you to have that confidence that you can get things done. Probably better than I can. So let me share a little bit of a story about this engine. Yeah, the engine you just saw there, that's dismantled. I have tried to rebuild this engine. I believe this is the 26th or 27th time. Yep. I've actually rebuilt it that many times. So, the story is, I thought I wanted to build an engine. And so I did. I bought a bunch of parts, bought them all on Amazon, which, by the way, don't do that. Go to your local Volkswagen dealership or Volkswagen shop that sells air-cooled parts and just buy from them. The stuff you get online half the time is such crap. Or at least it's been my experience. Maybe yours is different. I don't know. Anyway, so here's the story. I buy a 74mm crankshaft, thinking that I'm going to have to clearance the case. So I go ahead and do that, but I need to buy new tools. So I buy tools, which is kind of cool. Every dude likes buying tools, right? So I got a belt sander, a grinder, a whole bunch of tools, and I clearance the case. This was great. I put the 74mm crankshaft inside the engine, only to find that the connecting rods are actually hitting the camshaft. That's no good. So then I buy clearanced connecting rods. Cool. This should work. But I also had to get clearanced camshaft. Okay? Price is coming up, but that's all right. We're still having a good time. I realized that the bearing, the journals in the case they were kind of worn out. So I sent the block in to get a line board. Cool. I have a new crank. I have a new camshaft, a line board case. This should be awesome. Put it together, bolt it down. Crankshaft doesn't spin for some reason. Why would that be? Kind of weird, right? I don't know. Take it apart, think maybe I did something wrong, reassemble it. No. Make sure the dowel pins are in there properly. Reassemble it, tighten it down. Nope, still doesn't spin. Take a micrometer, check the dowel pins. Nope. They're right. Put it back together, still doesn't spin. Do this about 19 different times, maybe 20, because you just don't have confidence in your skills yet, because you've never done it before. Then you realize, I should check to make sure they did the line bore right. The line bore was not straight. One of the cuts was at an angle. That's why it was binding. So then you send it back into the machine shop, have them line board again, get different bearings because you have to, right? Now they've line boarded it bigger. All right, this is where it gets fun. Assemble the short block. The crankshaft spins! Assemble the rest of the engine. Throw the pistons and the cylinders, the cylinder heads on there, tighten everything down, adjust the valves, feeling like a rock star, only to realize your camshaft dust cover is sitting right next to you. Yep, you guessed it. Tear it apart again. On the 22nd engine build, get it all put together. Have your dust cover in there, or the cam dust cover in there. Yay! Excited about this. Rotates, everything's feeling good, adjust the valves again. Realize when you go to put the pulley on that your dust cover on your crankshaft is not in there. Contemplate running the engine without a dust cover at all. Realize, not a good idea. Dismantle the engine. Put the dust cover back in. Make sure the cam dust cover's installed, and reassemble the engine for the 23rd time. Not really feeling so much like a rock star. but you're feeling like you're getting closer and you know it's going to work this time. Talk to your local mechanic friend and realize that a 110 might not be a good choice for a 1760 engine, so dismantle the engine again, rebuild it for the 24th time with a different camshaft, a 100 camshaft. More reasonable. I understand this. This is good. I'm okay with this. Okay, put it back together. Now it's clickety-clackety when you rotate it. What on earth? Turns out the cam gear was a little bit too small. So, dismantle the engine, reassemble the engine. Now, after putting the correct cam gear on there, finally, seems like it's working. But then you realize, when you go to put the oil pump in there, that it's not really fitting on there very well. I don't really know why. It's just not seating for some reason. I can't figure out why. So I dismantle the engine, again, only to realize that I had a stock oil pump. Well, when you get the aftermarket camshaft gear, sometimes they don't clearance properly with the oil pump. So, reassemble the engine again and use the proper oil pump. But when you reassemble the engine, you realize that you didn't need to dismantle it to make the change, but you only needed to dismantle it to actually see what the problem was. So, okay. You're kind of feeling like a bum at this point, but you've had a lot of fun, and these engine dismantling and reassembling, they're going pretty quickly. Get everything in there. You know you have the right camshaft, the right oil pump, you have the dust cover on there, you have the crankshaft dust cover on there, right? Feeling pretty good? Yeah? Start throwing tins on, you're just having a good time. Realize, I haven't set the end play. I should probably try to do that. Push on the pulley, nothing. Push on the crank flywheel, nothing. Use a screwdriver to pry, nothing. Stuck. Take a wooden block, a hammer, with a dial indicator on the crankshaft, and find I can get to 36 thousandths of an inch. Yay! With using a wooden block and a hammer. That's not good enough. So, what's left to do? You guessed it. Dismantle the engine once again. So, that's where I'm at. The story does not have a happy ending. This is just a, hey guys, don't feel silly when you can't quite get something to work properly. But I'll tell you what, I think I'll be able to figure it out now. I hope. I may take it to a friend of mine, Mike, and ask him if he might have an idea on why this might be happening. But let me show you what I'm seeing, and maybe you might know. Maybe you can give me a comment and say, hey, you forgot to do this little silly thing like this main component that everybody knows about, but you just don't. So here, let me show you what I got over here. Okay. So what we have an engine. Look at this, it's an engine, yay! Okay. Now, I can't really spin with one hand easily, but it does spin easily. And when I spin it back and forth, when I can, the camshaft does not come up out of its, what do you call that? Journal? So that seems to be proper. Now, when I move the crankshaft back and forth, now that we actually have it dismantled, it moves back and forth properly. Right? Yay. The question is, why when I torque it down, does the engine crankshaft not have any end play? And what I'm thinking, I'd love your thoughts on this, I'm thinking that the bearing might be getting pinched perhaps. So if you look really closely where this tool's pointing, there's a little bit of discoloration right there. Now, I don't know where that's coming from, but I'm thinking perhaps those bearings might just not be the right size. Perhaps, I don't know, but I'd love your thoughts as to what might be causing the lack of end play. I mean, I got the car painted, and I got the doors on, and I'm ready to put it back together, but one little thing at a time. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think might be happening. I don't know, but I sure would love your opinion because, well, you probably have much more experience than I am, especially if you're, well, pretty much anybody else. So what are your thoughts? I would love to know what I might be doing wrong. And I do apologize for the lighting and the audio. I know it's terrible, but I'm having a good time and I wanted to share with you. So no edits, and yeah, here you go. Thanks a lot, guys.